Okay, awesome. So today is Wednesday and it is January 10th. And my name is Malia and I'm with Inner Perfect. And I do these energy updates every week on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. And up until today, I've been doing these energy updates on Instagram and Facebook, but I decided to go ahead and just move it on over to YouTube because I edit the videos down and I repost on YouTube anyway. So we're going to see how this works this week. Okay, awesome. I'd asked Rebecca, one of our viewers, how the tea helped that she got yesterday at the store, and she said she could go to work today. So, I mean, at least you felt good enough to go to work. Sorry you had to go to work, but I'm glad that the tea helped. So, all right. So, how these energy updates work typically is that I talk a bit about astronomical moon energies that are kind of currently going on, that are kind of coming in. And oftentimes I like to do card pulls as well for some collective messages, some collective, inside information. And so I have been shuffling cards. And so I'm going to do some card pulls here in a little while as well. And I do historically, since I live stream on Instagram and Facebook, and then I edit those videos down and then I put on YouTube, I kind of, cut out the chatter, like this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to see how this whole process works, like getting the video from YouTube and then editing it. So anyway, it's a learning process for me, is for sure. But thank you for those of you who are watching. And who knows? Sometimes I'm like, oh, this will be a short energy update, and then it just goes on. So we'll see how long I can hold your interest. But there are kind of two main things that I wanted to touch on during this week's energy update. We covered a lot of things last week, and that would be the energy update from January 3rd, if you wanted to check that out, where we talked about the new moon, full moon, talked about Pluto changing signs, that's coming up, talked about the fact that Mercury is not retrograde anymore. So we covered lots of things last week and did some card pulls as well. So all of that is still going to be pertinent information that is going to help you ride through January. If you wanted to check out that video, it's just from January 3rd. You'll see it just on my list of videos. But since tomorrow is January 11th, which is the 111 portal and a new moon, I really wanted just to kind of touch on that and kind of give you maybe some pointers or ideas that you can use to really maximize the energy of this portal. And hopefully those of you that are watching are maybe kind of keen on what I mean by portal. So I'm just going to get my notes here. I know what a portal is, but I have notes about astrological stuff. But I wanted to just kind of touch on what an energetic gateway or portal is. And, we have these pretty much every month. And then there are other ones that kind of come through as well. But anytime you have replicating or duplicating numbers, so tomorrow with January being the first month, 1, and then an 11, I guess maybe January 1st, maybe New Year's Day, we really had one as well. But with 111, this is a portal day. And you could look at upcoming months like February 2nd to 2. But when we really get kind of the amplification beyond 2 numbers, people talk about the the Lionsgate portal, which is August 8th, or we have the 1111 portal in November. Those are kind of maybe you hear more about those portal days, but it's basically where we get the energy, the supportive energy of the numbers, the numerology that line up with the date. And I feel like tomorrow is especially auspicious because it is the new moon as well. So it's a lot of energy that's kind of combined and amplified for intention setting and for, doing magic or just kind of getting in alignment with kind of what you're wanting to bring into your life. So, if you've ever seen angel numbers, heard of angel numbers, whatever, you might have a certain sequence of numbers that are very significant to you. I know, like, my channel name is Inner Perfect 1111. On my register at the shop is this old timey register. You have to like push buttons in for the denomination for like the total. And I always ring up 1111 because I just keep my money in there. I actually run my sales through my iPad, through Square, but it's just like a nice kind of blessing energy, is what I feel. So with tomorrow being the 111 portal, we have 3 ones, right? And so this is very much an auspicious time. This is a amplified, um, lucky time. It's really good for like solidifying your intentions, your focus, your goals, things like that. And because the new moon is in Capricorn with Western astrology calculations, Capricorn very much is focused on kind of that foundational, how do we want to cement our intentions into our reality, right? So it's all the energy is lining up to really give things that not only springboard but very like solid foundation for moving forward for this new year. And new moons are a perfect time for beginnings. You know, we always hear that, think of that. The moon is really not visible in the sky, but it is, it's can be a dark moon, right? You know, because the moon is fresh, and it hasn't really started its waxing phase yet. But new moons, I think it's important to always remember this, is that really before you start asking or intending for more things, sometimes and a lot of times, it's very imperative to release and let go of things that are like taking up space, that are taking up space that really don't need to be there anymore. We hear a lot of times releasing what no longer serves me, right? That line, that phrase comes through to me if I'm doing like a guided meditation for like a new moon or intention setting. And I hear other people who channel that also kind of say it that way. I think that's kind of this universal way of looking at energy, because I like to use the analogy of like a cup or a vessel or a well. And if we had, let's say we had an old timey well, you know, it's like 30 or 40 feet deep, right? Like you think of a wishing well, right? And over the years, that well, even if it is fed, you know, spring fed, it is going to, unless it has been completely covered over, it is going to get sticks and dirt and leaves and all kinds of things that are going to kind of slowly start to fill in the well. So where maybe you originally had this deep, deep well, okay, that is, you know, still getting fresh water in, it's going to get other stuff accumulated in it that really is just taking up space and honestly polluting the water a little bit, right? So when we think of releasing what no longer serves us, then it's like cleaning out the well. It's like getting all of that old stuff, that debris, that you know, stuff that's not water, and that's the point of a well, right? We're removing that so that the well is deep, and it is deep enough to hold all of that clean fresh water. Because just imagine over years and years, decades, right, of this old-timey well, and it had never been cleaned out. How much stuff. And, you know, people throw stuff in wells, you know, sometimes it's coins, but sometimes it's other stuff too. But just imagine all the stuff that can be filled in that well that would be taking up volume instead of water, right? And so imagine that the well was full and then it rains. Well, that rain is just going to kind of rain down and it's just going to wash over. It's not even going to be holding what the well is intended to hold. So when we talk about releasing what no longer serves us, and we talk about, we do that first before we set our intentions and say, yeah, and I want more, right? Or what I'm more aligned to. Let's clean out that well. And so, like today being the day before the new moon or on the new moon, you can kind of do a kind of like in tandem. First, release what no longer serves you. And if you are just like, I don't necessarily know what I want to bring in right now, but I need to let some stuff go, new moons are really, really great for that. But at least release what no longer serves you. And it could be just saying that phrase, as simple as that. But if there are certain things that you know that you need to let go of, go ahead and do that first. And then it is time to now say, and now I want to bring in either a specific thing or specific things, or it could just be my highest good. It could be surrendering and receiving and being open to receive your highest good. But that is a great way to do the whole intention setting process, not just like, yeah, I really want to deal with this other stuff that's taking up space, but yeah, I want more too, right? And it's not wrong to ask for more, or it's not wrong to align with things that are really better suited for you, who the human that you are right now. But if there is stuff, and it could be physical stuff, it could be stuff that you meant to take to the thrift store and donate, or it could be more like mental or emotional things. But if that stuff is taking up space in your physical space, in your energy field, in your mind, then it's just like that well. It's like that well that is not really operating at full capacity. And why do that to yourself? Why limit your receiving potential by still holding on to things that are just not in alignment with who you are right now, or where you're kind of opening up to be? So please take that into consideration. I love using fire or water for releasing what no longer serves me. And if you wanted to use fire, it could be as simple as having like a little vessel or a dish that is fireproof, and writing these things down that no longer serve you, that you're releasing, letting go of, writing it down on a little piece of paper, like even like tissue paper, something that burns very easily, lighting it on fire, putting it in your fireproof dish, and then seeing that energy start to transmute and change from one thing to a whole other substance, right? And you're also like releasing, and you kind of see the smoke, and then there's heat, and you see the energy, changing. So that is a really effective way of letting things go. Now, you don't have to just do that on a new moon, but it is a great thing to do on a new moon. Of course, if you have like a fireplace, or I have a wood stove that I heat my house with, or if you have like an outside, like a fire pit, you can go big too when you're releasing those things. It could be also just energetically like building like a sphere or a ball of energy in your hands and sending those things out, that you don't really want to hold on to anymore, and then releasing that into the flame. That's also something that you can do. Yes. So hi, Diana. I'm glad you're here today. Diana says that she needs a burn pot or a fireproof dish to safely burn things. Some people call it a burn bowl. We have like little cast iron cauldrons at the shop. You could use something that's even like a terracotta pot or a terracotta saucer that would go underneath like a pot for planting, flower or plants in. Anything that is going to be fire resistant, fireproof. If you're doing this in your house, just use common sense, and be safe. But it's something kind of handy to have around all the time that if you're festering on things, if you're kind of, needing to let stuff go, not just on a new moon, it's a handy little thing to have. Some people will actually write those things that they want to let go of on the pieces of paper, kind of set them, collect them in the bowl. And then once a month, maybe around a new moon, then have like a fire ceremony, and burn them, all together outside, or take the burn bowl outside if it's going to be a lot of paper. There's different ways you can do it. But yeah, it's a nice little energetic housekeeping tool to have for sure. So once we release what is no longer serving us, then of course, let's then call in those new intentions. We've made room. And the cool thing about this too is like a little side note. The cool thing about if you make room, then it is kind of creates a vacuum in a good way. It's a drawing energy to pull in those intentions that you're setting. So if the well was full, if all of your energy is full and you hadn't released things that no longer serve you, then it's going to be kind of like you're coming from this neutral space. There's not going to be a drawing or a pulling towards you, that much. And of course, everything is energy, right? And so when we do make room, then not only are we saying that we've trusted the process, we've released the old energy, we're not wanting to have that inner energy field or our awareness anymore as best as possible. We also have then created space We're saying we're open to receive those intentions that we are aligning with. And then it also, like I said, creates this energetic vacuum to where now there's a place for those new intentions to go. So it all makes sense. And I'm a very visual person. So if you can visualize that, there might be some other ways that you kind of associate how that energy may flow or work. But any kind of visualization or kind of things that might correspond in your own way that you make sense, that's going to help you focus on the whole process as well. So when you are setting your intentions on a new moon, for example, because like I said, tomorrow's a new moon, we've got the 111 portal, you can do that again in different ways. Sometimes people use fire to release and let go, but you use fire to release and send on in that trusting energy as well. So if you really, really like fire, you could also write your intentions on a piece of paper and then you could burn them. Trust that now you are sending them off to source, to universe, to wherever. Candle magic is a fantastic tool for setting your intention because you see the start of progress, right? So you might use a certain color candle that aligns with your specific intention. You could just use a white candle. It doesn't matter. But as you focus your intention, maybe speaking your intention, using the energy flowing through your hands to kind of charge that candle with your intention as well. And then when you light it, then you start to see the process, right? You start to see the flame glowing, releasing that energy out into the universe. And then you start to see slowly or maybe swiftly. Sometimes we see candles burn more swiftly when the energy is really intense too, which is kind of cool. But then we start to see that maybe that candle, getting shorter and shorter, or if you're using a jar candle or a tea light, the pool of wax gets larger and then it starts to dissipate a little bit. So we start to see that progress in the physical in the form of that candle that we're using, almost like for sympathetic magic. But then we then trust that what that is representing is now, replicating across the universe as well. So candles, of course, are a fantastic way for intention setting. Maybe you're a meditator, maybe you're someone who is very visual, who really likes to just do all the work almost like in that internal landscape or in that other perspective. You could do a guided meditation. You could do a self-led meditation where you are visualizing, future versions of you with the intention already happening. It could be also very much aligning with the feeling that you have, the emotions that rise up from you when you feel like, yes, this intention is in my reality now. You might not actually be feeling it in your present moment, right? This is an intention that maybe hasn't manifested. But when you put your energy, your perspective, and you let yourself feel it, mind, body, soul, in your heart, then that intention is like you lock in and you connect to that. And then it starts to already mix and mesh with your energy field. And then you're able to even magnetize and attract that even more. So I think I did mention this in last week's live, but with the portal energy, with the 111 portal, and specifically thinking of 11, tomorrow being the 11th, I love to use two candles, and we have the two candles, one on the left, one on the right. And it's kind of like an energetic gateway or a portal for you calling in your intention. You could use a novena candle, like a 7-day candle. That's like the tall, skinny glass jar. You could use pillar candles. You could use whatever kind of candles you wanted. You could also, if you don't want to burn candles or you can't, you could have anything on either side, little gemstone towers or whatever for you represents a 1 and a 1, that equal balance. And use this on your altar, on a shrine. Maybe you have it on your kitchen table. It's totally fine. And use that to kind of have a physical miniature version of this energetic gateway for you in your space where you call in, you're pulling in, your intentions. You're saying, I'm open. It's, you're sitting on this side, there's the gateway, and then all of that potential and possibilities on the other side. So that is a very simple kind of ritual or thing to do on a portal day. But maybe you can kind of put that into play tomorrow sometime. Now, if you wanted to kind of stack up the energies, you could also either after midnight at 1:11 a.m. or afternoon at 1:11 p.m. You could also kind of time everything around those actual times tomorrow, just in your time zone, to kind of align with the energies and, like I said, kind of stack them as well. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning, the new moon is in Capricorn, with Western calculations. With Oh, I have it here. I was like, I have my notes. Let me just double check, because in Vedic calculations, it is not in Capricorn. It's in Sagittarius, right? So we have either earth energy or we have fire energy. Regardless, if you tend to resonate more with the Capricorn energy, that earthy, grounded, planning, work focused, strong foundation focused energy, align with that, use that energy for your intention setting. If you are wanting more passionate, inspired action, aiming high and aiming for the stars, you can align with that Sagittarius energy. Align with both, do a merging of earth and fire. That's a freaking volcano, right? In a good way. So however you are feeling pulled to work with these energies, tropical astrology, which is Western astrology, or sidereal Vedic astrology, neither one's right, neither one's wrong. They're just two different systems of calculations. And I believe that their web and framework were affected by them both. And it's kind of like choose your own adventure, right? It's kind of like choose the system, the energies that you feel are most beneficial and that you are in alignment with the most. And that is going to, help you bring in those intentions. Intention. What is intention? It's what you want. It's what you're wanting to see come from maybe an idea or a concept, and it is coming into your physical reality. It's something that you are actually experiencing, not just daydreaming about. And like I was speaking about just a few moments ago, that's why it's so important to not only write it down, not only important about you have a certain mantra that you say. Of course, people do vision boards, all kinds of things that you can do, right? Those things are all wonderful ways to focus, to kind of start to drum up that energy and all of that. But the thing is that emotional connection in the heart center, I promise you, is going to be the biggest, most important part of really aligning with those energies. Because basically what you're doing is you're like, hi, I'm me. I have this energy kind of signature, blueprint, fingerprint, whatever you want to call it. This is my vibe. This is the energy that I am embodying, that I am saying, this is who I am. This is what's in my life. This is how I see things, feel things. And this is what I'm attracting, because this is the vibe that I'm putting out. And that's kind of how the universe works. So if you want something different, and hopefully it's something that is, something that you're aspiring towards, something that is going to uplift you, that is going to raise your vibration, be in better alignment, is going to help bring in your next life experience, whatever it is, then you're going to have to shift your energy. You're going to have to shift your energy to where your energy is resonating at a different level, point, vibe, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. So where that's what you're bringing in. So that's where that emotional, that feeling really, really comes into play, because you could just say a mantra all day, every day, right? And not really feel one way about it. You could, think and imagine, what you would look like in your dream home, or with your dream job, or your perfect partner, or 20 pounds lighter, or happier, or whatever it is, right? So you could imagine or daydream about that. And that is going to bring up a little bit, some of the feelings, but it's not just thinking about it, seeing it for a moment, and then just going, yeah, but that'll never happen. Or that's not what I feel now, right? Because then what kind of feeling does that bring up? It is really letting yourself completely surrender to and immerse yourself in the feeling of, it's already happened. It is my reality. It is my present state of being. Even if your momentary present state of being does not include that thing. But as soon as you connect to it and you let yourself feel it, and you let it start to kind of stir around in your energy field, then you're going to start shifting your energy and becoming in alignment with what you're wanting to intend. So a lot of people have a hard time surrendering to that. being, giving into that, relaxing into that, because they say they suck at meditation and they can't quiet their mind. But if you're setting intentions, if you are setting intentions, and let's say you're even like saying like a mantra or a prayer or some kind of incantation, and you're going through the motions, but then in your mind, in the back of your mind, in your periphery, whatever it is, you're just thinking about, oh, I can't believe so-and-so said this, or, oh, did I remember to do this, or this is never going to happen. Like whatever it is, you are putting all of those thoughts and the feelings associated with those thoughts into your intention. And it's going to be mixed and it's going to be muddled. And who knows? Who knows what is going to manifest from that? So that's why it's really important to take the time to clear your mind, to be present, to do some meditation beforehand, to be grounded in your body, in your space, to feel safe, secure, protected. And then also so you can completely relax into setting your intentions. You can completely relax into aligning with what you're wanting to bring in, because whatever's taking up space, whatever is filling your energy field, that's what you're putting out. So I think that's all that I really want to talk about. New moon portal. Like I said, if you are wanting to kind of check on some other themes, we talked about the full moon coming up on the 25th. We talked about, oh gosh, the fact that Jupiter is direct, the fact that Mercury is direct, pretty much all planets are direct now, which is fantastic. Such just an amazing forward, moving motion right now. And then also we talked a lot about Pluto shifting signs from Capricorn into Aquarius. So that is all from last week's energy update, which kind of was a little more far reaching over January. But now I want to do a bit of a card pull time to jump in cards. Hold on one second. The Hanged Man. Thanks, dude. Let's go ahead and leave that out. But I wanted to kind of do a bit of a collective reading. Oh my God, these cards. A collective reading for what is coming through this portal energy, what will be helpful information for us to either focus on, for us to be aware of, and maybe even some personal messages for those of you that are watching this, right? So I had another jumper here. Oh my gosh. Knight of Swords. Okay. So hold on one second, and I'm going to pull a couple. I'll show you the cards that jumped out. The first card that jumped out was the Hanged Man. And then the second card, and the Hanged Man jumped to my right. And then the second card that jumped out to my left was the Knight of Swords. And, with the Hanged Man is this kind of self-imposed stillness, the self-imposed time of reflection that could look somewhat torturous, right? Hanging upside down from a tree, but look, he is receiving enlightenment here. His crown chakra, his halo is illuminated. And so this is saying that if we take the time out to be in complete introspection and to be pausing in that stillness, then oftentimes that is when everything kind of gels together, or we get the answer that we've been seeking. Because when our mind is actively trying to pursue something, then we are in a projective energy, which is a divine masculine energy. Nothing wrong with that. But we are not in the divine feminine receptive energy. And we shift in between those energies depending on what's going on in our life. But when we are in a receiving energy of what we're trying to bring into our life, we do need to be in that energy of stillness. And so if you feel like you are too busy, if things are kind of coming at you from all directions, you don't have time to slow down, whatever, you're just going to be kind of in this chaos storm, and very well might just be manifesting and bringing in more chaos, right? And I'm not saying that that's all your fault, or that's what you're manifesting specifically, but that's kind of the universe. The universe is kind of chaotic. And when that's really the energy that we're in, it's a crap show. We don't know, who knows what could show up, right? I said crap show. I think I mean crap shoot. but regardless, that's what I meant. So just take into consideration the Hanged Man, giving yourself a little bit of time for introspection, and see if you will have that eureka moment. See if you will have, a lot of times too, it's not as much of like excitement or like inspired, energy. It is this peace that washes over you. It is a sense of knowing and understanding that rises up from you, from your internal landscape. And it is a knowing then moves to your mind, and then you maybe have an idea or can take action on it. Okay. And that other jumper card, Knight of Swords. Then once you've had that time of the introspection, then it is the time to take action. Then it is the time to strike. Why would you start taking action, or why would you start running off in a direction if you had no idea why you were going in that direction? Sometimes that's the only course of action that you can take. It's just like not being stuck or still anymore, right? But I feel like for right now, take the time, be still, receive, and then take action. And so it's just a 2-step process for all of us. So I'm going to cut this deck. I have shuffled it a million times. I was waiting for people to hop onto the live for the first few minutes. So just got an extra good shuffle. I'm going to pull some more cards here. And we have the Ace of Wands. These holographic cards are fantastic. I'm going to pull 3. Page of Cups. We'll go over all of these. And the Devil card. Aces are very much the beginning, right? This Ace of Wands is telling us, of course, we are ushering in new energies, a new year, fresh start. And this is pretty much saying identifying what you are wanting to bring in, what you are wanting to possibly bring into your awareness. I feel like that there is very much there's a creative energy about this, but it is not like, it could be artistic, but I feel like it is more like, what are you wanting to bring from your internal landscape out into the physical? What is something that you're wanting to see truly manifest, right? We have the wand, and then we have these little, leaves that are sprouting off of this. This wand is not, it's not dead, right? There's actually new growth coming off of this. So this is very much a good time for thinking about things that you want to grow in your life. It could be your finances. It could be relationships. It could be aligning with like your health, right? How your body is continually shedding old cells, growing new ones, and kind of really getting back into alignment with that. And it could very much be just the beginning stages of a longer term goal. Sometimes people get overwhelmed when they are goal setting, or they are starting the new year off, or whatever it is, because they're like, well, there's this really big thing that I want to do. And that's wonderful to have a really big goal. But sometimes then the next step is like, I'm really overwhelmed because I don't know how I'm going to get from where I'm at all the way to there, right? And so oftentimes we talk about working backwards. We have the big goal, okay? And we say, and I'm here, right? And then we break it down by months, we break it down by weeks, we break it down by days, we break it down by numbers, if it's a financial goal, whatever it is. And so we might have something really, really big at the end, but when we break it down into smaller pieces, parts, steps, whatever it is, then we have those shorter term goals, right? And those more attainable goals. And we are able to kind of wrap our head around it and say, well, yeah, I can't really maybe imagine, because this is a new reality that I've not experienced yet. I don't even know, how I'm going to get to there. But when we break it down and kind of work backwards to where we're at, then it is like a baby step at a time, and we're able to maybe have more of a belief in that. So consider that when we are looking at Ace of Wands. Consider bite-sized goals, shorter term goals that are leading you, that are working together and growing to be that big thing that you're wanting to manifest or bring in. Trees don't start 50 feet high. I mean, they're like a little acorn or they're a seed, and then they're a tiny little sapling. And then, but then you give them enough time, and then look what they are. They're towering over and, creating all of this shade and reaching out towards the sky, right? So, baby steps for sure. All right. Page of Cups. I feel like that this is, when we're looking kind of collectively at everyone, this could definitely mean many, many things to individuals. But Page of Cups, I feel like, is letting yourself feel not necessarily childlike wonder, but a think of like a teenager or like an early 20s type age of how much potential there is, how not even resilient you are, but it's like when maybe you aren't in that jaded place. You aren't in that, well, I've tried that before, or I've wanted that before, but it didn't happen. Like when it's just like the world is your oyster, What do I want to bring in? What makes me happy? What makes me feel, expansive and love and excited and all of those things. And in the Page of Cups, he has a little fish, his little fish friend there in his cup. Um, and fish, and of course cups, has to do with our emotions. It can do with the relationships, but I think first and foremost, this is our relationship with ourselves. This is tapping into that version of ourselves that thinks that anything is possible. What is it that I want to imagine and bring into my reality? And it's just, not being so planned, so serious, so jaded is what keeps coming to mind. And this is just saying, like, what do you also have to offer to others? When we think about intention, we think about, receiving. Yes, like we are asking for, different energies to come into our energy field, into our experience, into our awareness. But when you do that, when you do align with your highest good, when you align with the things that are, you came here to experience, before you incarnated as a human, as a soul, you're like, yep, these are things I want to do. Then those things, those either aspects of yourself or the energy that you put out is first and foremost for your experience. But just think of what a gift that is to share with others. So when you are kind of running more at your optimal energy, not only is it just a phenomenal experience for yourself, most important, it's about your life experience. But just imagine how much more positively or impactfully that affects other people around you. This is in your relationships, your partner, your kids, your family, your coworkers, your friends, all of this, strangers, right? How your energy can kind of be like that ripple effect, affecting other people as well, good or bad. And why don't we make it good, right? So, Page of Cups. Now, the Devil card. And I do want to clarify this. But this is what I'm feeling. Devil card, doesn't, it can get a bad rap, we do have a devil, we do have the lovers here, but they're chained, they're bound. A lot of times this card can speak to, it can speak to like addictions. It can speak to that energy being, being controlled, what you are controlled by, or someone controlling you other than, you kind of, being in the flow. But really, this card is the energy that I'm getting from this, which can be another meaning, as what I'm getting is whatever is in our shadow, whatever energies are in our shadow are just as important as the light. And so when we were speaking earlier about releasing what no longer serves you and then making room for your intentions to come in, I feel like there may be energies that do serve you that you might be keeping underneath the surface, that you would see as your shadow. Let's just call it your shadow, okay? And it could be sensual desires, it could be anger, it could be passion, it could be lots of other things, right? But whatever is in our shadow, whatever is underneath the surface, is just as important and is just as real, even though we're either trying to not acknowledge it or we're trying to not let other people see it or whatever it is. So until we bring it to the surface and until we acknowledge it and we kind of like bring it to the light, and I'm not even saying like releasing it, but like integrating shadow with light so that you're really that whole person, that fully integrated yin and yang being, then that shadow side, even though it's underneath the surface or it's, the primal and the shadow, it is going to have a lot of control, a lot of power, a lot of influence in your life. And so it could be this devil energy, could be a situation, a habit, a behavior, thoughts that are not good for you, right? That are negatively impacting you. And if you're ready, you might want to work on releasing those, to not let those things take up space in your life. But it could also be bringing things that are more shadow but primal. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean evil or bad at all, but bringing that up to the surface so that you can integrate it into your being, so that it's not really dominantly running the show from behind the scenes. Once it's been brought to the surface, then it is just kind of like it's exposed and it's there, and then you can integrate it and really be that kind of truly balanced yin and yang person. So there may be things that are associated with that devil energy that really give you your roots, that really give you that depth and that power that you would like to actually be able to accept about yourself, that you would like to be able to actually present, to the surface, to the world, to other people. It could even be something that you think that you have kind of really like hidden away. You're really good at like masking that or whatever it is, but it's like it's still in your energy field. You still feel it. People still feel it, even though they're like, "Oh, no, I'm fine," right? So it provides definitely a whole lot more authenticity when you are able to, bring everything to where it's like everything's out on the table, right? So I do want to clarify this though, because that is the feeling intuitively that I'm getting about the devil card. But I would like to clarify to see if there's anything else that we need to know about that card in particular. And I pulled 2 of swords. It was reversed when I pulled it out. And I feel that pretty much this card clarifying the devil card is saying that you are ruled. Like I said, if you have that shadow side that is underneath the surface, sometimes the shadow can actually be having more power, more impact, more it's affecting you more than you realize, because you're like, oh no, I'm ignoring it, it's underneath the surface and I'm hiding it away from everybody. But it might actually have more power over you than you realize. So when you make that choice, okay, when you make that choice, don't be stuck in indecision, don't be stuck in I don't know what to do. You know what to do. It is honoring your light, honoring your shadow, and integration, and being fully authentic, fully transparent with like, these are all the parts of me. This is all of me on all ends of the spectrum. That is the unique combination that makes me. When we're able to acknowledge that and stand in our truth, then we are coming from a very empowered and very powerful place. And no, we do not want to be just in our shadow. No, we do not want to be just in our light energy, because we are not one or the other. But we very much may try to act like we are sometimes, which is very strange, but it's okay. But it is truly about integrating and accepting all parts of us first. And then we start accepting all aspects and parts of others in our life as well, right? So if you're judging someone, if someone's really pushing your buttons, whatever it is, it very much could be that universe is providing this mirror, this example for you out in the external world of something that you might actually be trying to squirrel away, right? And not look at in that shadow aspect of yourself. So I feel that looking at all of these cards together, we are getting confirmation that yes, tomorrow, this whole month, really intuitively, I feel like January, February, first part of March is really kind of this energy like, all right, here's our chance to really use this inertia, to really use this energy to get things in motion as best as we can for the upcoming year. Eh, yes, we can always have new beginnings. Yes, we can always have a fresh start. Every moment is a new moment and all of that. But I feel like whatever you kind of set the tone for this year over the first quarter, okay, leading up until like the spring, let's say the spring equinox, that is going to very much set the tone for you with how much momentum and speed that you have built up for the remainder of the year. Because yes, I do feel intuitively that this year is going to have some amazing highs and some bumpy lows as well. And if you have enough, just imagine if you've ever driven up a gravel driveway, a gravel driveway, and there's a little bit of an incline, maybe, there's a little bit of a rut or whatever. You kind of have to get a little bit of a running start. Okay. And this is like in a vehicle, right? If you're going like from a dead stop and you're, here, you might not make it up that little incline. I mean, the traction's not good. You got the little ruts in the road or whatever. You also do not want to take off like full throttle because you might just like get airborne. Who knows what'll happen? But you want to have that deliberate, starting out slow and steady, but with, aimed and focus. And you want to just have that right amount of speed to where you can get to where you're going. You can get to your destination, right? So I'm sorry for any one of you, that you've never driven on a gravel driveway before, but I have spent my entire life doing that in many, many places. And there's just a sweet spot. There is a sweet spot for how fast, how much engine power you need to be able to get over that interesting terrain and that slight incline. So this is really what January is, building into February and March. How much momentum, but focused momentum and the right amount of pressure, time, all of that can you apply to where it's going to carry you through the remainder of the year, through those little bumps, those little valleys, but also some really, really great times too. You don't start anything this month, the next month, it's going to be really, really difficult to get the momentum that you need. So definitely take advantage of now, this time, the new moon. We have a full moon coming up on the 25th as well. Time is of the essence, right? It really is. Okay. So let me pull just a few more cards. Anything else that we need to know specifically about the 111 portal, or things that we can do also leading up to the full moon on the 25th? So let's kind of look at the next 2 weeks, okay? Starting with tomorrow. Let's split the deck here. Sorry, I don't have multiple camera angles. I'll show you the cards though. Oh, so many cups. Okay, so we have the 5 of Pentacles. We have Ace of Swords on our Ace of Wands. We have Knight of Cups. We had a Knight of Swords in the beginning. We have the 4 of Cups. I love this. It always reminds me of a piece of popcorn that is giving him a cup. And then we have the 6 of Cups. So 5 of Pentacles. I feel like this is working towards integration, health. I want to remind everybody, this is practical knowledge. This time of year is kind of, there's the ick, right? There's all the respiratory stuff, all the things. Take care of yourself. Um, Allow yourself to rest when it's time to rest. And then also try to integrate fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, drink lots of water and do all the supplements that you like to take to have that preventative type of medicine instead of now I'm sick and now I'm just trying to treat this and make it for less time now that I'm sick. And if you're sick, I'm sorry. It's just like, yes, there are still things you can do, right? But now is really the time to try to prevention is worth a pound. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's what I'm feeling really first and foremost with this card. Okay. Is to remember um, to um, to build up your reserves so that you are not just run down. Sometimes we're like, oh, well, I don't have time for that. I'm so busy, or I'm really focusing on this, and we're not sleeping enough. We're not eating right. We're not drinking enough water, whatever it is. We've been taking our supplements and we kind of get busy and we forget, we get off track. And yeah, sometimes that's life. But I feel like if you're really building up a little bit of that momentum, and then you haven't done the things just to kind of like take care of your body, which is like, we're humans, it's essential to like take care of ourselves in that way, then that is going to get you off track, right? Because then you're going to have to like take time out to get better, which yeah, sometimes we have to do that, and that's okay. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Remember that, okay? More energy of action, more energy of, yes, we are going to be um, not only setting our intentions, we're not only going to be dreaming up what we want this year to look like, what we want to bring into our reality, but we are going to have to take those action steps towards that. And sometimes that is having the big goal, working backwards, having the smaller, more attainable goals that we can focus on. But it's also saying that like you can dream, you can intend, you can do the most magical thing ever. But then if you don't do any work, if you don't do the work, right, which could just be energetic maintenance, keeping your energy aligned with that's work. It could be actually taking practical steps in the mundane world to make that intention come into being as well. If you don't take those steps, then you're going to be working against yourself instead of, actively aligning with that energy as well. So remember that you do have to be an active participant as well. Knight of Cups. And like I said, the card that jumped, let me find it at the very beginning. We had Knight of Swords. This jumped out here when I was shuffling. And then we have Knight of Cups. I feel like you are going to be balancing, or we as a collective are going to be balancing being in an energy of knowing when to take action and knowing when to be more in our divine masculine projective energy, and then being able to also pause and receive. Speaking a bit to, if your well is full, then it's kind of hard to receive, right? Like we were talking about that at the beginning. But I feel that it is knowing when to pause. And, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take all these action steps, which is going to be necessary. But then if you're so busy doing, or if you're so busy doing and someone says, hey, like I could help you with this, like I'm happy to give you a hand, whatever it is. This could be universe saying, okay, so this is one way that this is kind of can come into your life. This is one way that we can kind of take a little shortcut, or you can give yourself a little bit of like pause, relaxation, because this other person is kind of coming in to help make this happen. So it's saying, don't be so ambitious. Don't be so active in your pursuit of your intention or your goal, that then you're like, no, that's not how I thought it would happen. Or, no, I got to do this on my own. Universe works in very magical ways with this bird's eye view of like the best, most concise way for this to come into being. So know when to be receptive, know when to pause and be receiving and open, especially for help. That's the feeling that I'm getting. And then know when to step back into that action. Okay. Now, Four of Cups, with the little popcorn, it's a cloud, but it's the popcorn giving him a cup. And he's sitting here, his arms are crossed, he's sitting underneath the tree. I feel like this is not, this is speaking to Knight of Swords versus Knight of Cups. I feel like this is saying, pay attention. Like it's not just signs and gifts and blessings from the universe. I mean, those are around us all the time. But I feel like this is saying that what you are wanting to receive, this is going to come to you in perhaps ways that you did not imagine. And one thing that I love to say when I am setting intentions, or I am, working on bringing things into my life, is, yes, I can be very specific. I can say how much or what it is or whatever, but then I always end it with this or something better than I could even imagine. Better than I can imagine, right? Because the thing is that we get in our own way a lot. We get in our own way of our abundance, of relationships, whatever it is, because maybe we haven't ever experienced that before in our own personal life. Maybe we're working from other paradigms or patterns that have been limiting. And when we get in our own way with, I can't even imagine it. It's hard for me to even put myself in that place mentally, let alone emotionally. Or we're like, well, this is how this other person did it, or this is how maybe anyone who's successful, the only way that they could have made that much money, or they could have, met their dream person or got their dream job or whatever it is by winning the lottery, or by, having coming from old money, or, whatever it is. We just say, well, yeah, maybe it's possible, but there's this very, very small 1 in a million chance that it's going to happen, because that's the only way I could see it happening. And so we get in our own way. And so universe, though, is like I said, universe is, like this bird's eye view of like, okay, so this is the path. This is an option. This is an option. Well, it's going to move this here, move that there. And then bam, there you go. But, we're just like in the forest with all these trees, and we can't even see like how to get out of the forest. So it is kind of surrendering to, I may know what I want, what I need, whatever it is. I may not know how to get there, because from this point up until this point in my life, perhaps I've not experienced this before. And I'm really, operating blind here. So it's saying, move your awareness move your trust into universe, source, higher self, guides, angels, whatever, to where you can say, maybe you, or that perspective, has, more efficient, effective, better way of making that come into alignment. And also maybe something better than you can imagine, because you very much may have limiting beliefs on of things even being potential or possible. And then looking at the Six of Cups, this is a very happy card. We have a man and a woman, or a boy and a girl in a garden. All the cups are full of beautiful flowering little plants, and then we have the cup being given to the lady. And this is not your happily ever after yet, but this is saying, wow, you are working towards that. Look at all this progress that you're making. Look at how much is already coming in, and how much you have to be thankful for. You have 6 cups that are full. You have more than enough to where you can share, that with others. And whether this is like in the physical form of, abundance, like money or food or whatever it is, that you have more than you need. And so you can pay it forward, you can help others. But it's also, cups is our emotional, self. It's our relationships, it's love, it's compassion, it's all of that. And it's saying that your cups will be overflowing, that you will have you will see the fruits of your labor, and you will feel that if you are open to receiving that. And this is very much progress. This is I feel that this is by early summer, midsummer, this is, halfway through the year, this is saying, look, give yourself the opportunity to acknowledge how much you have already started to realize in your intentions and your manifestations, and be able to look back to January, right? And say, oh my gosh, how much progress have I made? Wow, I am in such a different place. Allow yourself to kind of stand back and admire, because I feel like that's where you are going. That's where we are going. Because gratitude is another essential part of intention, manifestation, of receiving. Kind of speaking to these energies, the nights of, you could be receiving things. It could be help. It could be actually receiving, your intention is coming into realization. But if you're looking somewhere else, or if you're just like, oh no, I gotta keep nose to the grindstone, right? It's the people who, like, are making money, are working towards more money, and then it's never enough. Don't let yourself be in that energy. Allow yourself to be grateful for what is coming in, because then it really integrates it. You're able to enjoy it. And then it's like, that gives you the sustenance, that gives you the energy then to say, all right, we're now ready for part C of the plan. We've checked off those shorter term goals, and now we're working towards a big one. But I'm seeing the results. I'm having more, I'm getting more than I need, but then still, yes, I'm excited about continuing to work towards this. So let's remembering to be in that state of gratitude, receiving, enjoy it, right? Enjoy it, but don't stop, but use it as like something to kind of bolster your energy, your resolve, all of that, so that you can continue moving forward, moving into your best life, moving into those intentions that are starting to put in motion right now. So lovely, lovely. I think these are very motivational messages for myself, for all of us. And I appreciate those of you who have stuck with me during the live stream tonight. And I will be doing this on YouTube, I think, from this point forward, instead of on Instagram and Facebook. A lot easier for me to talk to a computer screen than a computer screen, a microphone, a phone, all of the things. So we will see how I'm able to kind of edit this. We'll see if I'm able to do that. I'll have to figure that out. And I will try to be posting videos in the meantime too, in between these live broadcasts as well. So happy new moon to you. Happy 1/11 portal. And I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.